We're going to move on to the Woodward book here and the president's defense over Bob Woodward's new book. He has said that the White House is this smooth-running machine that we mentioned earlier, and he talks about the big deals that he's been making as proof that that's the case. Let's bring Fred Barnes in from the Weekly Standard, where he's executive editor, and we'll talk here, good to see you, Fred, about whether or not the president really, and I think it was Bill McGurk brought this up earlier, should just be touting the economic success that he's having and talking about nothing else but that, and just leave things like this book for other people and say, you know what, whatever. Yeah, it's a tough book, whatever it is, but I have this economy running. But he keeps responding to it. What do you make of the strategy?
Look, I keep disagreeing with him. Anybody at the White House who thinks this book is going to help, what'll help is, I agree with Bill McGurk, talking about the economy will help a lot. The economy's great. I don't remember it being so great since Reagan was president. Anyway, and then there's an issue that always arouses the Trump base, and that's immigration. Talk about it.
Right.
But to have when you've had so many of these shutdowns over the years, and they've all hurt Republicans, to think that this one won't, I think is bad thinking.
Now, on the book itself, and I guess we'll get a chance to actually read the book as opposed to the excerpts here as the week goes on, and maybe some of what's being reported will change, but I doubt it. I mean, Bob Woodward was interviewed a few times, even today. I believe it was on the Today Show, where he talked about the president that is detached from reality, talked about the fact that he jeopardizes national security because of that so-called detachment. What do you think is the actual impact of just this book politically on the president?
Well, a year ago it would have had a big impact, maybe even 6 months ago. But, there's so many of these horror stories in the book that we've already heard before. They've been reported. Not all of them, but a good number of them. And I think, the public, and not the press, but the public anyway, is inured to these stories. Right. In other words, they've heard them so many times. They've already tended to come to grips with whether President Trump.
Well, even if it's true, it is what it is. We support his policies or we don't. That's what. That's the read you think people have on this.
That's many millions, and a lot of them voted for him. Didn't think much of him personally, but thought he was better than Hillary Clinton, and they liked what he was saying about trade and some other things.
What do you think will happen more as we get into the midterms in the 2020 election? People will look, especially among people who didn't vote for the president last time around, and maybe some of them are, moderate Republicans or moderate Democrats, if that type of thing still exists, but they'll say something like, well, you know what, I do like his policies, and I'm going to vote for him next time because of those policies. Or do you think there'll be more people who say, you know what, these policies are great, but we got what we were going to get out of this president already, and I just can't stand his personal behavior or whatever it is? Which side really wins out in your view, from what just in terms of your observations?
I think the side that wins out, as it looks to me and a lot of other people, is that these folks who voted for him last time and were a little, it was hard to take that vote, didn't like him. There's going to be a turnout problem with them. They won't show up, a lot of them.
That you're talking specifically about the midterms or about his reelection?
Yeah, the midterms. No, it's a little different.
Because it's different when he's on the ballot, right?
Yeah, just like Obama. When Obama was on the ballot, fantastic for Democrats. When he wasn't there, terrible for Democrats.
Yeah, it's going to be that is an interesting point. So you're assuming then that Republicans probably lose the House and maybe hang on to the Senate, or it's real close now at this point, the way you look at it?
It's close, but they ought to be able to hold it. And Senate races are just different. But we're all waiting for the next presidential race, and that's going to be, I think the 2016 race will look mild compared to what we see in 2020. Obama will be loaded for bear. He's
back out there.
I'm going to retire sometime, but not before 2020.
That's right. At least one more, right? Why not?
Indeed.
Yeah, that's just, geez, for political reporters, it is a dream. I don't know about for everybody else, but Fred, thanks. Good to see you.
Good. Thank you.
Fred Barnes.